Hello, welcome to the Two Have and Two Roll podcast. My name is Oliver. In this show, my wife Robyn and I discuss role-playing in Dungeons & Dragons, LARP and cosplay. We are super excited to have you here, and we really hope you enjoy the show. Hello everyone, welcome to Two Have and Two Roll. My name is Oliver, and I am joined, as always, by my lovely wife, Robyn. How are you, Robyn?
Hello, everyone. I'm great, Oliver. How are you?
Yeah, I am good. I am good. I have my favorite purchase from the weekend with me, and so do you.
And what is that favorite purchase?
It's mead. Yeah, we went to a live action roleplay fair at the weekend. So it was an event called What's Your Game? And it was held in Gloucester, wasn't it? It was the Blackfriars.
Blackfriars Priory is where it was held.
Yeah.
It's like this big Priory. Sort of it's very, very medieval venue anyway, but it was perfect for the LARP event.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. And so we one of our purchases was this lovely tasting mead. So it's you know what, I usually like the more kind of, well, not sessiony meads, but like sparkling meads. I quite like. I don't drink a lot of just the traditional meads, but even you liked this one, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same. I do like mead, and I like to I find it nice to sit and sip every so often. But this one is absolutely beautiful. It's obviously all mead is very honey prominent, but this one is, I feel like I'm just drinking honey, and it's rather strong. So I need to just not drink it all.
Yeah, it is.
What was the mead called over?
Yeah, shout out to Y Valley Meadery. They've got a beautiful. I mean, I've got it for podcast listeners can't, audio only listeners can't see this, but they've got a lovely bottle label there with gold and white on it. I think he was saying there was like 3 different types of honey in that mead. The chap was lovely, wasn't he? He was only
yeah.
Sorry, was that wrong? I'm sure it was 3 different types of honey.
I thought, it might have been 3.
Yeah, it might say on the bottle.
Yeah, let's look at the bottle. Yeah, the guy was absolutely wonderful. He was telling us that he's been keeping bees for 20 years and genuinely just had so much passion for the bees and for looking after them and giving them the best possible life, which is just really wonderful.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he said his hives were on the top of a building. Was it? I'm sure it was like a castle turret or something.
I'm sure he said a turret.
Yeah, I'm sure that might be completely wrong, but he definitely has them on, like, on a roof somewhere. And pretty local to Gloucester, where we were at the event. There was a lot of mead there, wasn't there? Just being a LARP event, a lot of people go, "Oh, LARPers drink mead." But there was a couple there that I really wanted to maybe purchase, but then we came across this stuff, didn't we? And we were like, "Wow, we'll take a bottle."
Yeah, we're like, "Yeah, no, this is the one."
Well, he had IPAs, didn't he? He was like, it wasn't mead, it was a honey beer, so it was just like, honey flavored IPA, which I tried.
Yeah.
And I really liked, and I was like, I might get a couple of bottles of that. And then the people next to us were like, "Oh, try the traditional mead, try that stuff." And we were like, "Okay, we'll give that a try." And we had a shot of it, and it was like, "Whoa, that's some good stuff." It's like,
I think it also helped at the fact that the venue, it was a little bit chilly, and we're wandering around and we're looking at all these amazing LARP things, and just that wonderful warming sensation of the shot of mead. It was just like, yes, we need this in our lives now.
Oh yeah, there's something about it. It just, I know people say they get it with whiskey, and I don't mind a whiskey every now and again. I like a whiskey in an old fashioned. But yeah, people go on about like how it's like warming. I never really get that with whiskey, but I definitely get it with mead. You know, you take a sip, and then a few moments later you kind of feel it in your chest. You're like, oh, Okay, yeah, and it feels good as well. It's that healing honey properties. I think.
The issue is though, Oliver, is that I could easily just drink glass after glass of this. I'm like, just sip it and wait.
Yeah. It is strong stuff. Yeah, the bottle, I think you said, is 14.5%. So it's a pretty strong stuff. And I think as well, I can't remember who we were discussing this with someone. It might have been at the weekend, it might not have been, because I tend to tell the same stories over and over again, which is good for a podcast. But yeah, I remember speaking about mead to someone and being like, there needs to be more session meads, because in pop culture you see, I definitely
it was me you were speaking to.
There definitely needs to be more session meads though, right? Because mead in itself, it's not really something you can just guzzle a lot of it down. I don't know the history of mead that well, but from what I was told even the Vikings didn't drink that much of it. But in popular culture, like, and in fantasy settings like the Elder Scrolls and Skyrim, the Nords are just like guzzling it down with like pint mugs, and they're like, I'm gonna have a mug of mead. I mean, you wouldn't want a mug of this stuff. Well, I probably would want a mug of this stuff, but
you wouldn't.
Not several.
Yeah. You wouldn't feel great the next day.
Yeah, it's not really. It's more of a mead in this one. It's more of a spirit. So like I'm literally sipping it now. But yeah, I think a few people are actually making some more session meads that you can actually drink like beer, because that's what we need.
Yeah.
We need session mead.
We definitely do need more session meads. I mean, it's just because it puts you into that sort of gaming mood, especially when it comes to games like Dungeons and Dragons. But like you just said, I'm pretty much just repeating exactly what you just said. And that is the fact that it is really difficult to drink an actual traditional mead throughout a session of D&D because it is very strong. Whereas if we had a nice session version of it, then you could just get into the spirit without... Doesn't even mean that.
I think, is it classed
Here all day.
Yeah. I don't think it's classed as a spirit, because it's... I don't know. I don't even know what makes a spirit. I don't even know what makes a spirit.
I feel like I should know this.
The worst alcoholic beverage podcast ever. I have no idea what condones a spirit. But yeah, I do know that mead's the oldest alcoholic beverage in the world. It's like, again, I don't know the exact number, but we're talking like thousands of years old. Like it's an extremely old beverage. It's like the oldest alcoholic beverage by a long way, I think, as well. Which I guess why people like it in, they associate it with LARP and ye olden times that a lot of these fantasy settings like emulate. So it's like mead and like, ale, like brown ale, like watery ale is usually the other thing as well. Yeah. Well, I think that it comes from, again, in back in the day, the ale was better to drink than the water, because the water wasn't very safe to drink. So
yeah, you're spot on. That is exactly what happened. Yeah, you could at least guarantee that the ale wasn't going to poison you in that sense.
Exactly, because it was obviously the alcohol content and the fact that it was stored as well, in a safe place where it wasn't getting spoiled. So yeah, that was when it's only recent times that breakfast time drinking has been not acceptable in a lot of circumstances.
It's not?
I pretend like it isn't. But we had a good weekend though, right? We had a...
Oh yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. Obviously there was all the incredible meat on offer, but there was also a lot of other pretty exciting things at this event. Well, last episode of the podcast, we talked about what we were hoping to get at this event. Did we get all the things that we were hoping to get?
I don't know if we got all the things. I was very good. I did not, because I think I know, I think they know where they make their money, these vendors, when it comes to these type of LARP events. and that's the weapons. Everyone's into the weapons. So the weapons were all. It was pretty much exclusively like, medieval class swords and sorcery weapons, right? There was only a very few. There was a few stands that were selling the airsoft stuff, I think, and there was a few selling like the Warhammer guns made of latex and all that. But a lot of it was
there was some like I don't know how to describe them, like apocalyptic weapons. Was that how you would maybe describe them? Like
like sci-fi and post-apocalyptic,
the rusty saws and things like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I think there's a lot of they're quite popular, but apart from like this very small percentage of that stuff, it was mainly just swords and shields and axes and maces and all these different things, and it's just there were so many of them, and they're all so cool. And just the child in me, you just pick them up and you want to swing them around, right? And we did say in the last podcast, I was like, I want to buy my first weapon because I don't want to spend my money, and then get to my first event and be like, oh, this isn't this isn't appropriate for the game system or what my actual character needs. So if you're going to spend 85 quid on a sword, and then you get there and you're like, oh, I actually needed one that was like 42 inches, not 32 inches, because I didn't really understand or know what I needed. So I tried really, really hard and I succeeded. I did not buy a weapon. Robyn, what did you buy, Robyn?
I bought a weapon, guys.
You did.
I almost bought 3 weapons, but I only bought 1. So let's call that a success.
Well, yeah.
Although since then I have ordered another weapon.
Yeah, you ordered another weapon because you were like, at least you kind of thought about it, right?
I did. I thought about it for a whole 6 hours.
Yeah. So the weapon you got, it's basically a dagger, right? It is a dagger, isn't it?
It's a sword.
Okay.
It's just a really small sword.
Very small sword.
Mm-hmm.
Like a letter opener. But it's really beautiful, isn't it? And the handles.
Yeah, it's basically what they've done is they have made a mold for the handle, and they have filled the mold with a silicone. So the actual handle that you're holding on to is silicone. It does have something in the core. It might possibly be fiberglass or something within the core.
Yeah, they tend to.
And then the actual, and then like the actual blade is foam layered with latex.
Shit ton of latex, yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult to work out because the handle is definitely silicone. But for any of you who have worked with silicone and latex before, you can't use both together. They can't meet or touch one another because then they don't set correctly.
Really?
So I don't,
No, I knew that, but I just assumed the handle when I saw it. I assumed it was pure latex. That's what I assumed it was.
Maybe it is actually. Yeah. It could be pure latex because then that's what I was trying to work out, because it feels like silicone, but it might be pure latex, and that would make sense because it looks like there was almost a glue coating in between the blade and the handle, so it's not fully touching. I was like, oh, that's strange, and then I thought, oh, that's because if this is silicone, that's latex, they won't be able to touch.
I imagine,
but I could be mistaken.
Yeah. I imagine so anyway. Again, I guess people will know what the general rules are for a lot of these game systems, and that they try their best to stick to those parameters. So I don't know what.
Yes.
Yeah. I'd be interested though. I mean, a lot of the stuff there, like, again, because I don't really want to waste my time. I want to go buy a good quality sword, but a lot of the stuff there, like I looked around, there were a few pieces that I'm like, wow, that is amazing. But some of the basic stuff, I was like, yeah, I could totally make that. I don't know how viable it is as a business if you're making 1 or 2, because the amount, these vendors were making looks like just in the thousands. The amount of swords that were there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, exactly. And it is just so much time goes into them, so much effort. I was actually surprised by the cost, because I feel like the amount of hours and work that goes into some of them, I felt they were on the lower scale of what I was expecting cost-wise. But as we got to the vendors that had fewer, their costs were quite a bit higher. But the ones who had fewer had some really unique pieces there that I was just like, wow, I want it.
Yeah, no, there was some really really cool stuff there. I saw a hero sword that I really liked. I saw a long sword, and that was another thing as well. I was like, I do not know whether I need a hero sword or a long sword. I don't even know what the actual. I know to look at what the difference is, but I don't know what the difference is. I'm going to need to
In
speak.
game.
Well, I'm going to need to speak to someone. I'm hoping one of the lovely people at the LARP event we go to, because we're going like a day early, so we can do some shopping at the event to buy weapons and the last bits and pieces. I'm hoping one of the lovely people going to the event will kind of help me. And if I say, yeah, I want to do this, or my goal is I want to have a sword and shield and I want to do this in combat, then they might go, you'd be better off with this length then. Or because I think someone had said to you, one of the shop owners, about like the length of the sword, because you were looking at these like elven blades, weren't you?
Yeah, so this shop, I was looking at this elven blade, and I totally fell in love with it. More for the coloring on the handle first, and then the fact that it was elven. But I just felt it was too large, and he spotted me and came over to chat and said that he actually had them in 3 lengths, and he sort of recommended a length for myself.
Yeah, well, go on.
I was just going to say that, just like what you were saying there, but the fact that if you were to go sword and shield, I am planning on dual wielding and going for 2 swords for dual wielding. So I'm kind of focusing on the shorter length.
Well, yeah, because what he'd said was that, if you're like just a walking around sword is different from a sword you take on the battlefield.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
he was like, if you want something to like just walk around in and do skirmishes, then the shorter one, which was like the 30-something inch one.
32, I think it was.
Yeah, and then he's like, but then if you want to go into big battles and actually be able to hit something, then you want obviously the longer one. So it's difficult to know, until you say to people like, this is what we want. And that's why I thought it's just a good idea to wait until we're actually at the Empire game system, where we're about to play the game, and then the vendors are one. I think a lot of the vendors there at the weekend are going to be at Empire, I think. Anyway.
Yeah, quite a lot of them are. I think they were saying that they'd be there.
Yeah. So what? One thing was the giant greatswords, or the
oh
big,
my gosh.
like they were taller than you, weren't they?
And then some. I went to hold it, and it was just like, this feels right.
Yeah, it was pretty cool though.
They were really cool.
Yeah. Some of the. I tell you what. Yeah, it's funny when we walked in as well. What did I say? I saw like wizard hats, and I was like, I want to be a sword and shield. And you're like, oh my god, you're gonna walk out just being like, I'm gonna be a wizard, and because there's wizard hats.
I definitely thought that about it. You love wizards and everything, and I thought you're going in there like, I'm going to be this sword and shield paladin, and then like an hour later you're there with this wizarding hat and a set of robes and some lovely leather bound books.
I think
like off to be oh shit.
I will definitely, when the character I'm making now dies, I might, depending on what I want to get into, I might make a kind of a mage character. I don't know because I think if I'm going to go into one of the other aspects of it, my current feeling is that I'm interested in the military stuff. I'm not really interested in the training stuff. I am sort of interested in the magic and the crafting, and not the religion. So I think I might end up going maybe magic. We'll see what the magic system's like, because it's what I like about what I've read and what I've heard about the system we're going into first, is that it's a subtle magic system. So there's like ritual magic, and then all the other magic is like touch. So you literally have to touch it. There's no like, the throwing the beanbags and the cringy stuff, throwing fireballs at people. You literally have to touch someone. Yeah, all the magic is touch, or it's ritualistic, which means it takes a long time, and you have to get a lot of people to get together to do it before the battle, and then that gives you the buff. So I'm a little bit interested in that.
So right, I'm struggling with something, Oliver.
What?
That's my character choice. See, as we've started to really get into this and started speaking to people and looking at all the character creation stuff, I'm looking at it all. I'm looking at the character I've decided to go for. I'm completely rethinking it, and I want to go a totally different way. And I'm like,
you haven't made your character yet, have you?
Exactly. I've bought a few pieces, and you know what? I'll still wear them. They're not going to waste, but I feel my whole color scheme as well, which maybe sounds a bit daft.
Yeah, you've bought everything in that one color.
No, I'm not. I've bought one thing.
Really?
I've got one purple thing, which is the dress. I've nothing else in the color scheme yet.
But your trousers.
That's why I'm. Oh yeah, the trousers.
And I thought you have your stuff for cosplaying and Annalise, and that's what you were gonna wear.
Yeah, but I'm kind of thinking along the lines of a Torvi-esque, and Torvi is very yeah. So she is my monk. Torvi. But I played her as a monk bard a lot, and I kind of want to do that mixture. And she's like all fairy-like, and she's got lots of blues on her, and she's got like butterflies and flowers and things like that. And I thought, I think she might be fun because I've already got so many things that I can use for her, even down to basic things like certain types of makeup and fabric dyes and leather dyes and everything. And I'm like, plus she's all blue. It would fit in.
Yeah. So the nation we're going into, Dawn, they have a thing. Obviously, they have like, not obvious. I'm saying obviously. Well, it's not obvious. They have noble houses, which you can join, and all the noble houses will have their own color scheme, based on their coat of arms and heraldry. But when you go to join a house, you're a questing knight or a knight errant. So you have to go through this test to join a house. So if you're not if you're not associated with a house, or you just don't wish to show their colors, from my understanding, is that every knight is allowed to wear the Dornish colors, so the nation's colors, which is blue and a sunburst yellow. So it's a blue field with a yellow sunburst. So my idea, and I think you're thinking the same thing, is I wanted to come in as a knight errant because I want to do the test, because that gives me something to do straight away. I'll be like, I want to do the test of metal. I want to be I want to work to be a noble, and be a knight. And so I was going to go, and that means that if I have that costume, instead of going in as a noble and then dying straight away and then be like, crap, I've color coded to being that noble, and now I've got to get a whole new kit together. I thought my first kit can be the colors of the nation, but from what you're saying, it sounds like you're wanting to do the same thing, right?
I am. Honestly, the more that I read up, and I've been reading through it all, chatting to everyone, and being active in the Discord and so on, and I've just been like, I think I really want to. I want to go and have a shot at fighting and doing everything. And I feel like the character that I started creating is she is more of a slightly political character. And I was like, I do not want to do all that straight away. I want to go and play with a sword and go from there.
Yeah, well,
and
yeah.
Also, I've got a little bit of I've got like a little bit of butterflies about the fact that my character has an accent.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah.
It's not this is not the deciding factor, because knowing me, I'm happy to chat in a different accent for a full weekend, no bother. But knowing me as well, I might be a little bit nervous at the start, and I want to play a character that's a little bit more in my comfort zone, and Torvi's me. So
yeah, I haven't even thought about Oh no, well, I mean, I guess I have thought about what my character would sound like, but it's probably going to be very similar to how I introduce my D&D characters. I have this idea in my head, and what just comes out is completely different to what I had envisioned. I'm like, oh, I'm going to give him this. I'm going to give this real sophisticated voice, and then it just comes out completely different. And so I'm probably not going to know. I'm probably going to. The thing is, I mean, the good thing is I do end up putting mannerisms. They're just not the mannerisms that I first expected, but it's usually because I'll do something and I'll be like, why the crap did I do that? Why am I saying chap all the time? And I'm like, oh well, that's obviously the thing that this person says, and then I'll just lean into that because then I can, people know that character because that character says, all right, chap, I don't. So
I can picture it now. You being like, right, going to be this noble knight, this hero to the realm. And then Zep Brannigan comes out.
Zep Brannigan. Again, you've been watching Futurama.
Well, that's who I am now.
Zep Brannigan. Yeah. Well, like
I have come to bed your women and save your town.
Well, yeah. I mean, that sounds pretty Dornish. You know what's interesting as well? Like, I know that there's obviously I think obviously a part of the why they have the setting brief and the setting rules is so everyone kind of abides by them, and it's obviously to do with inclusivity. So one of them is that in Dawn, even though it's very much based on like Arthurian knights and European knights, there's no so one of the main things that they're about is glory, but chivalry and honor aren't one of them. So it's not. So my point is, it might be interesting. You don't want to piss people off, a bit like in D&D. Like, you can totally play against. I guess it means you can play against type. I mean, I suppose. If chivalry's not really the done thing in Dawn, it's not really something that's looked up to. You can still be like, you can be like, oh yeah, so I can be a little bit chivalrous, and then that gives people something to role play against. I think you've just got to be very careful with that type of stuff, haven't you? I think it's a bit. Yeah. I think it's a bit like, because you're all supposed to be part of the Empire. I think it's fun to do a bit of like treason talk, to be like, oh yeah, is the Empire really that good? But I think the basic theme of the game, you're going against the basic theme of the game if you get in there straight away and be like, fuck the Empire. I'm assuming.
I think those are tonight's quotes, Oliver. It's fun to do a bit of treason talk and fuck the Empire.
Well, I don't know. I'm only assuming. I'm only assuming because otherwise it'll just be chaos. You've got 3,000 people playing this game. I'm assuming everyone just goes, okay, no, we're gonna, it's the spirit of the game is that we're all part of the Empire and we need to help the Empire. But yeah, so. Yeah, I think putting aside your character is going to be a bit more political is maybe a good choice, because then you might, because you never know, you might. I think it's going to be a case of going for a weekend and then coming back and then being like, right, what are we going to do for the next time? You might be like, oh yeah, I totally want to, I met these people that are into this, so I'm going to, go and I want my character to, do such and such, or join this part of the religion, because the religion seems pretty deep, and it's a whole game within itself.
Yeah,
because there's one religion, so that's another thing that's I was trying to get my head around, a bit like how you're all part of one empire. There's literally one religion, as well, that all the nations take part in, but there's different. I think there's virtues. There's probably people at Empire players listening to this being like, "Oh my god, these people know nothing." But yeah, I think there's
they're like, "Stop talking."
No. I think there's different virtues as a part of the religion, and each nation usually prefers the different virtues. I think I don't know what they are. People, I bet there's people that know just have, because I think there's like actual scriptures and things like that. But yeah.
I mean, I think that's a good thing about this. Once we do our first event, we will hopefully have, like you said, a lot of ideas coming back, but also know where we fit within it. Yeah, my Annalise character had her backstory pretty much planned out, having the fact that her mother is from a different nation, and that's why she appears different from the others, and so on. And I thought, this is a lot, and I'm almost going to end up studying for this event if I put all this into her. Maybe I could just be my Torvi character who just runs around looking for quests and just wants to help people.
I mean, it's something we need to get done because we're actually running out of time to do our backstories and actually create our characters.
I have a decent chunk of Torvi's backstories there. I can build that into Empire.
Yeah, because I've been backwards and forwards because I didn't know whether to bring my paladin Godric into it, but because I think I want him to be more like. I don't know. I think I'm wanting to be more like Davin, actually, my bard, than I do. You got really interested there. No, but I wasn't going to play.
If you bring Davin, I'll bring Aaron.
No, but he's not going to be. He's going to be way more Godric than Davin. But I wanted to push him more to that, because Godric's a bit of a jock, you know. So I was going to basically play him, but just put a little bit of. Make him a little bit more dramatic, basically. That's what I was going to do. So I didn't know whether I was even going to call him Godric, but the basic idea, the basic premise of the character is that his sole purpose is to be a knight, you know, and to seek glory, and to be like in a song someday. That was his main thing, and it just seems to fit. It seems to fit just a first character for that really well. Yeah.
No, I think so.
But anyway, back to the. The fair, because we're talking about
what's your game?
Yeah, we were talking about what they had there. So we were talking about weapons. They had a lot of weapons, as we've just gone over. They had obviously all your kind of soft kit as well. So that's what I purchased. I purchased some trousers, and it was good to get up close to them and actually have a look at them. So I got some decent trousers that all. Do me? They weren't jodhpurs, but they're pretty. I don't even know what type of trousers they'd be known as. I think they're literally just trousers. And you got a nice piece, didn't you? You got a
I got a shirt. It was like really nice though, because I've been looking around for LARP shirts for a while, and although there are many out there, there's many lovely women's ones. They're all very baggy, and I quite like things that are a little bit more fitted. And this one has like corset style ties up the back and the sides and down the arms. And I was really upset because there was none in my size. And then we found out the one on the mannequin was mine. So they undressed the mannequin for me. Yay.
It's not the most expensive hobby that I've ever come across, the LARPing, but it's not exactly a extremely low barrier to entry, because I had in my head, I'm gonna buy like a couple of pairs of trousers, a couple of shirts, but then it starts mounting up on your on your card, and because I was looking around, some of the stuff that I wanted wasn't there, but I was getting a better idea of what exactly it was I wanted. I kind of had a look around because I had in my head that I wanted like a gambeson or a new cloak, and there just wasn't one there that I like the look of, and because those are two pretty expensive pieces, I was like, no, I'm going to save my money, go home and have a look and order them. And I ended up ordering a gambeson like the night we came back. I was like, need one of them, because I want to wear armor at some point, but obviously like it's all has to be layered, so I was just getting the base layers, and so I needed like a padded gambeson, which is going to look good, and then really all I need now is like a tabard, and that's it. So I'm thinking about making the tabard myself.
I think you could do that.
I put question in on the Facebook group, so anyone who's getting into LARP, Facebook seems to be the place to be for LARP. like more so even than like Discord and whatnot. It all seems to be done through Facebook groups seems to be the thing, and they're very active and they're very welcoming. So, like the Facebook groups for Empire are great, aren't they?
Yeah, they're absolutely lovely.
Yeah, I put something in the Nation Facebook. A lot of people were recommending that I get a surcoat and not a tabard. Yeah, these people know as well because they're like, oh yeah, if you're going out and fighting in a tabard, it might just get all tangled and fly off. So I think I'm going to be making a surcoat. I think. We'll see.
I think that'll be pretty good. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think that's another reason why I am edging towards a different sort of character type, is because I'm literally thinking, right, what am I going to be able to run around a field in realistically? And I thought, well, my sort of more monk style D&D characters are more likely to wear still dresses or dress styles, but much shorter than my other characters, and would also have likes of not necessarily leggings, but if you can picture like leather wrapped leggings underneath, sort of blue leathers and things like that with the boots and everything. And I was like, oh, well, that's the kind of thing you can run around in. You can fall down, roll about, whatever.
Yeah.
But also be really comfortable and completely covered. You won't have skirts getting tangled up everywhere. And you can have a nice, pretty, skirty thing for after. I mean, that long green thing that I got that I wear to work. Mm-hmm. They've got a blue and gold version of that.
So what would that be called then? You put a green thing.
Oh, right. Okay. And I don't know what to call it because the kids at work keep asking me what it's called. And I'm like, I don't know. It's if you, I don't know what to call it. It's
poor audio listeners.
Right. Okay. Take you on a story. On a journey, guys.
Use your DM prowess to describe this garment.
Okay, this garment, it has no sleeves, but it has a hood. This is not a riddle, guys.
It's like a riddle. It's like a riddle. What has 9 eyes but does not see? What? What?
Oh, 9 needles. Sorry. And then it has it's got the hood and it doesn't have any sleeves, but then it attaches around over the bust area and is laced up over the bust, but then opens out under and from the back looks like a long billowing dress. Basically, it has pockets and everything in the side, but looking at it from the front, you'd need to wear like trousers or something.
I got trousers and I got a pair of gloves because I walked past a pair of gloves and I was like, oh, gloves, I didn't even think about that, so I wanted a decent pair of like suede gloves that were actually, and it was good being at a fair to actually try them on because I have for a man I have pretty small hands, so even I got the smallest size, and even then I'm hoping they'll obviously shrink a little bit in the damp as well, so they should fit really snugly. But even then, I have to tighten them up to the tightest, so it would have been a bit of a nightmare trying to order that online. But that's just something I didn't think of until I walked past them. I was like, oh yeah, I'll definitely need some, because it's better to just have them and not need and be like, I know what, I'm not going to wear them for this battle. Then it'd be absolutely so cold, and then or wearing gauntlets or something and going, oh, I don't have any gloves for not gauntlets, like braces or whatever, and being like, oh, actually I could have done with some gloves, because I think you have to have special padding for gauntlets. I don't know.
I'm not too sure actually. I think so, maybe.
Yeah. I got some padding as well for my shins, and I got I got some flowers as well. That's the other thing I got. I got a headband with a load of red roses along it for my character, because you need a little bit of flair, Dornish flair. I wanted an accessory. So
it's a bit of flair.
Yeah, a little bit of flair. I think that's all I got. I think apart from that and mead, obviously.
Obviously.
What else did you get?
I got some Viking rune hair beads. They're little metal ones. So They're really nice. I wore them to work today. So those are really nice. I just got a set of 8 because I've had quite a lot of hair beads, but I usually get them online and they're usually not very hardy. No. And if you've got thick, tight braids, they can just snap. So these are actually metal, which is great. I picked up a cute little leather pouch that contains 2 plastic bottles inside. They look like little potion bottles. Yeah. And the pouch attaches to a belt. So my thinking behind this is we're going to be out running around on a battlefield, probably hungover.
Probably.
So yeah, we will be hungover.
100% hungover.
So this is how I can have in-character paracetamol with me.
Yes. That is a good idea. Plenty of water.
And the tooth tabs and the other ones. I don't like the sort of, not going too long without brushing my teeth. So I get a load of tooth tabs, which are little tiny tablets from Lush, so that you don't need necessarily like a tube or anything. So I can put those in the other one. Yeah. And then I'm hungover sorted,
Brush your teeth on the go.
Brush your teeth on the go. It's just like any LARP character would.
Yeah.
Let me think. Like anything else? I got those. Got the sword already mentioned. Yeah. I feel like I got other things, but I can't remember now.
That was it.
I got some beautiful silk flowers for attaching over to my dress.
Attaching to your character that you're not going to use. So you went and bought a load of stuff for a LARP game, and we're like, right, get the basics. Don't waste money on things that we don't absolutely need. We need essentials, and you just bought a load of stuff for a character that you don't want to play now.
No. All those things are things I could use for this character. The only thing that may not work is the silk flowers. And you know what? It would work as well because I'll be covered in flowers.
I'll be covered in flowers. Yeah.
And I got a couple things arriving today. Some leather supplies arrived today. So I'm happy.
Yeah. Before we go on to leather as well.
Yeah, I know.
And talk about all the other stuff. One thing I will say as well, we put some of our stuff on that we bought, didn't we? And we went outside. It is currently February, beginning of February in Englandshire right now. So it's pretty chilly outside, and it wasn't even that bad, was it? Outside, it wasn't like that windy, but it was cold. And being out in our LARP stuff that we had bought, which is basically our base layers, for this event, we were like, holy shit, it's cold. And we're like, we're going to have to be in a field for 2 weeks like this. So that was and I had my gloves on, and I had my boots on, and I had my trousers and my shirt. That was basically it. So it was just the base layer. But even then, you're like, whoa, okay, we're getting an idea of how much clothing we need, how much more clothing we need to buy, instead of just chucking on, a shirt and trousers and going, hey, there we go, we're off LARPing for a weekend in England. Probably not the best. So
also comfort in general as well. This is just sort of one thing I was thinking about there, because I've got I've got a long sort of purple overdress, and then I've got a long white underdress, and then a long white skirt. And when I put it all on, I was like, this is very heavy. Okay, I'm totally covered. And I thought, okay, I can't walk without tripping over it, and I have no idea how I am going to pee, especially in what's most likely going to be a smaller area while gathering lots of skirts. So I thought, okay, let's think about this for, a full weekend that might be a bit challenging.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what the toilet situation is in this place. I think I know there are showers, and I'm assuming they're going to have portaloos and toilets built on the shower block. I do not know. It's not really something.
We get there and they give you a shovel.
Well, yeah, a latrine. Yeah, we could make our own latrine. That would be really, role playing that out. We don't really want to do that.
We're not doing that.
No, I don't think so.
A local McDonald's is going to see LARPers just turning up every couple of hours. Hello.
Well, I think there's
use your toilet.
I think there's a supermarket nearby, because I've seen the map. I think there is I can't remember what it is. There's a supermarket.
Oh, I am not leaving that site.
No, I'm not.
I plan to be my character and leave, the real world behind for a weekend.
Yeah. So leather, yeah, you mentioned leather there. So apart from the soft kit, they had a ton of leather pieces, didn't they? Leather armors,
Yeah.
leather artwork pieces, and obviously like hide cloaks, furs. There was lots of furs, wasn't there?
I was going to mention that actually earlier when you were saying about cloaks. I forgot to say, I found a cloak I liked.
Oh my god, yeah, that was beautiful,
Wow.
wasn't it? Yeah, I wish I could remember the folks' names. It was a chat. I don't know if they were.
I followed them. I can probably find it really quickly.
See if you can find it quickly.
So I went to look for them and I was like, oh, I'm already following you.
Yeah, his stuff was really, really good. He did all sorts of different pieces, but yeah, it was like premium stuff. You pay for what you get, really.
Oh yeah,
it was pretty good stuff. But that cloak, nothing. It would have been absolutely useless for your character because it was very wintry and very, it just reminded me of something like Norse. It was all
it definitely
was extremely thick furs. But it looked absolutely beautiful and it looked like fitted. You didn't have to like drape it over you. It was like a proper cloak. It wasn't just like it didn't just sit and just strangle you. Did it? It like you could literally put it on you. Like the ones they have in Game of Thrones, and they just like you just put it over someone's shoulders and just sits there without having to be clasped.
Yeah, exactly.
It was actually shaped.
So yeah, the company's called Troll Kong.
That's it.
Yeah, so Troll Kong on Instagram.
Yeah.
And yeah, they do leather work for film, TV, cosplay, and LARP.
Yeah.
And yeah, like even just looking at some of their recent pieces, they've got Aedor's helmet?
Aedor is a fictional character that is in my D&D game, Robyn.
Not Aedor. I mean,
I was just about to say if he's unless Jamie has commissioned a costume piece. You mean Éomer?
Éomer.
Yeah, no, he had that helmet at the event. I did see that one.
Oh, so he did. I must have not seen it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is literally photos from the event. Okay, yeah. So Troll Kong, guys, check them out.
No, yeah, there was some real nice, and there was lots of leather, all different types as well, wasn't there? I mean,
Oh yeah.
One thing I did resist buying. I don't know why I resisted buying it, but I just didn't want it to be an impulse buy because again, it's a purchase that's probably going to stick with you for a long time because it's made of leather. Is a leather pouch, like a basically a bag, that put on your belt, and there's a few of them that I picked up and I was like, I don't know, I do need one, but I think I might just shop around a little bit more because I don't know how fancy I want to go with it. I don't know how large I want it either because I haven't quite figured out what I'm actually going to be needing to take with me around the field. I think it's going to be, I guess your phone and your, if you don't leave it unless we have like, because what I would like to do is have like a lockbox in the tent, to leave your phone in. But apart from that, you're going to be wanting your currency. Obviously, you're in character and out of character currency in the pouch, and then probably just a few other bits and pieces. I'm thinking about taking like a notepad and a pen out in the field with me so I can write down people's like names and character names and who they are and what they do, and if I need to speak to them again, I think that might be a good idea.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, when it comes to pouches, I was like, I'll just buy one somewhere. And then, well, what we're saying there, it's got a load of leather that arrived, and some of the leather that just arrived, it's already dyed blue. And I was like, I could totally make that into a pouch because I was going to do like a drawstring one. And then I thought, actually, I could probably make a hard, solid one. It's not that difficult. It's not compared to what we've already done. The only item that I need that I don't have would be like a wooden block for shaping it, which relatively straightforward to get. You can actually get them from I've seen some people literally going into places like B&Q, because these are sort of blocks that are used for lots of things, or just for just furniture in general, for the bottoms of cabinets and things, and using those to shape it.
Yeah, it depends how big you want to make it. Yeah, I think that leather you got though is like chrome leather, isn't it? So you probably won't be able to shape that very well.
I've got some veg tan as well though, but that leather, it looks quite good for putting sort of like extra decorations on it and so on.
Yeah. So some of the leather working was real smart. And then, I guess, what else was there? The metal, the metal armors, all pretty cool. But again, you're just like, I don't know. I guess people were buying it like on a whim, I guess, but I don't know. I feel like armor of that thing, unless you're like, right, I want a specific, I'm looking for a specific set of like, pauldrons or something like that. I guess people don't just like. I guess they do impulse buy big sets of armor. I guess we know what people are like. I probably would do. If I'm like, oh no, I need another set of armor. If I knew more about it, I think. But yeah, some of the armors there were cool. There wasn't that much armor. There was just bits and pieces, wasn't there? There was a there was a big in the main hall up the stairs. There was like a load, wasn't there? There was like, again, my terminology is terrible, but they had like a load of neck pieces that seemed to be popular to like go over, the ones that go over your head. I have no idea. I cannot remember what
the one that you like literally made out of thermoplastic.
Yeah, one of those. Yeah, one of those.
One of those guys.
Yeah. There's they had a load of those, and there was the chainmail. The people. Can you remember who the people?
Mm-hmm. I was about to get onto the chainmail. Don't worry.
So chainmail is metal armor, I guess. But yeah, they had tell us about the chainmail.
So yeah, there was a stand there. I don't actually have the name to hand, unfortunately, but there was a stand there where they had lots of chainmail that they had created, obviously for LARP, and they had some pretty nice sort of sets of chainmail there, because they had washers rather than just the chains, which cover a larger area while cutting down the weight a little bit, because chainmail is heavy, guys.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be making that part of mine, because I'm going to be making scale mail instead of chainmail. So yeah, scale mail is similar to chainmail, but instead of chains hooked together, they are little sort of arrow-shaped scales, if you like, and they are hooked together with chains, and they look really cool.
Yeah, I've heard several times about chainmail making as a hobby, that it is one that is actually difficult, but not actually difficult to master. I think the person that was the thing, I overheard her saying to someone that it's hand hard but brain easy, which is funny because it looks like it's the other way around. It looks like it's like, oh yeah, you just bend the little rings, but how on earth do you make it into a shirt? But yeah, no, I've heard that even from like cosplay and people going on about making chainmail. It is quite easy once you get into the swing of it. I guess it's like, I don't know. I don't know if it's like knitting at all, or crochet, because I've never done it.
No, it is. I was going to literally say that as a really good way of thinking of it, because it's a pattern that you're looping this pattern, and as soon as you get your brain around the fact that you are flipping it over every so often to get it the right way, and you're putting your good sides of your scales, your pieces together, it's fine. It helps if you are able to use your left and your right hand pretty well.
Ambidextrous.
Yeah, it does help if you are at least ambidextrous enough to be able to do that constantly. But if you are the type of person who really can only use one hand and really weak with the other, then it can take a little while to get there. But once you get the hang, you just use 2 little pairs of pliers that have curved ends, and you can just sit and do it with You could just keep going. It takes a while, but you can make some pretty amazing pieces out of it.
Yeah, I might have, I don't know. I might have a look into giving it a go.
The thing is, Ollie, we've got all the tools here and I've got boxes of stuff. You can literally lay it out and one day just have a little play with it and see what you think.
Yeah, I might do it. It just looks, I don't know, it looks boring to do. It looks cool once you've got the piece because you're like, wow, it's chainmail, but there's not really a lot of it is just like it's the same thing over and over again, and then it's just one piece of you almost make it into its own material, don't you? It's a load of rings, and it's just one material. You don't really need to paint it afterwards, and it's. However, I don't know how much. I don't know whether the time versus the money spent on the shirts, is worth it or not.
Well, yeah, I mean, they can be quite pricey to buy simply because, like you said, there's the amount of time people spend on them.
Very pricey.
But the materials are pennies. I mean, literal pennies to buy. Yeah. The one thing I really love about it as a material, I guess, is the fact that you can alter the size so easily. If you have to, you could have like a full shirt, and then at any point you can make it a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller, or you can change the shape, and you can take some of the scales out and you can replace them with different random colors, and you can put patterns into it. Once you've made your main piece, it's there, and you can do anything you want to it. I know you can, with fabric, you can take it in, let it out and everything, but I feel like not as easily as with this.
Oh no, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you just take a little links out and yeah. So funnily enough, a family member of mine has got a chainmail. I can't remember the technical term for it, but it's chainmail shirt anyway. And they've offered it to me for a good price, but I still need to figure out. They still don't know how, like, what length it is and what it's made out of, whether it's like mild steel or stainless steel, or I think like the construction and things that has a bearing on how it wears against your fabric of your padding underneath. So I don't know. There's a lot to learn. I mean, there's so much to learn about all this stuff, right? So yeah, I don't even know, because I was looking quite interestingly at the aluminium chainmail they had there, because obviously the biggest thing with the aluminium is that it's lighter, a lot lighter.
Yeah.
Chainmail, as Robyn said, like, it's so heavy.
It's and that's like you were saying about
disadvantage in Dungeons and Dragons when wearing chainmail from stealth.
Yeah, and I mean, like you were saying there about it wearing, about a certain type of wearing against your fabric and everything as well. That's one of the things when you're making it that can be really tricky to make sure that everything goes exactly closed. I've only made like a scale mail top with chainmail underneath it, and I didn't have anything on under the top, so I had to make sure that it wasn't going to cut or scratch my skin at all. And that's what took up more time. Putting it together didn't take that long, actually.
No.
But then it was going over all the rings after and just making sure they were extra smooth. But what I'm going to do with the stuff for the first event is I'm actually going to attach them with the leather base to the sort of kidney belt that I'm making, and possibly to the shoulders as well. That way I'm not actually going to have any issue with them rubbing against fabric or cutting my skin, because I'm going to put a nice little invisible patch underneath them.
Yeah, right enough. What else did they have there? They had a bit of food, didn't they? They had jerky and fudge and all sorts.
They had prosthetics, quite a lot of prosthetic materials.
They did,
like beautiful selection. They had your usuals, like your elf ears and your orcish style tusks. They had your actual full orc latex masks. But then they also had some cool things like scars that you can stick on some leeches. The leeches were pretty interesting.
That was crazy, right?
That was good thinking. That was for like your medics out on the field with their little pack of leeches.
The bag of leeches. I think that was so cool. Yeah, talking about like the monster. There's one thing that
the monster heads. Yeah, sorry.
Monster heads. Yeah, that's one thing that people have advised to us, isn't it? How so in the game we're playing, you're all part of the same empire, but then if you're going to go out into the big battle, you have to. If you're going to go out into the big battle the following day or the day previous, you have to take a turn being like the invaders, the barbarians, which are usually like orcs. So yeah, you're expected I think they hand out I think you get handed a mask, but you can, if you prefer to have your own, you can actually, I think people buy their own, but you do need to have your own kit. They'll give you like a shirt to go over your normal kit to, make sure that you look like the rest of the orcs. But yeah, we need to make sure as well that we have kit for that as well. Maybe like a specific shirt and set of trousers for that as well.
Yeah,
so I think you get given a weapon. You get given a.
I think mask. So. I was just going to get a load of darker sort of materials and things just to pile on and just look a little bit more like that, because I thought, well, as opposed to the rest of the weekend, you're probably only going to be in it for a couple of hours and then changing out of it again, I guess. So I was like, actually, I think I'll be fine just layering I don't have to worry so much about the waterproof aspect of it or anything, because after a couple of hours I'll just be taking it all off and putting my nice warm dry kit on.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's probably a good idea just to be like, oh, this is my one shirt, and then go, oh no, I need to go off a monster, and then go off and get all muddy and stuff on the first day, and then come and go, oh no, my single shirt is now wet and muddy for the rest of the weekend. But we'll better keep that in mind. Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of blacksmiths, wasn't there?
Yeah.
There was a working blacksmith who had his forge set up, which I didn't really want to go anywhere near because it kind of gave me flashbacks to being, an apprentice farrier. It's the smell of the coke, which is the coke is it's coal basically. That's what it is. It's just it's made for modern forges. It's called coke. And the smell that it gives off, a lot of people enjoy it, but I spent long days in the forge as an apprentice that were just miserable and hard, and I didn't I didn't spend much time next to the forge. He had bellows though, which was impressive because usually they're all electric these days.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling he had both. I think he had bellows hooked up, but I'm pretty sure you could hear the electric motor. So I think it was what's called a chuaya, which is like basically a ceramic piece that sits in the coke fire or the coal fire. You can use it with coal, as well. It basically sits either the side or at the bottom, and it's got a hole in it, and that's where the air is pushed through, either by the bellows or by the electric fan. So the fire is on top of or by the side of the chuaya. So you've got the air coming from the chuaya, and then obviously the fuel on top of it, and then the fire is in between. That's what creates the heat.
Yeah.
So usually when you have an electric fan, you can hear which I could hear. Pretty sure I could hear that. I might be completely wrong, but I thought he had one. So you can work it with both.
Yeah, you'd assume he'd have both anyway, just for days when he's by himself, sort of thing.
Yeah, you're pumping the bellows constantly. Depends as well. Like this, we tended to need the chuaya for making horseshoes because you did everything in pairs because you make a pair of horseshoes. So you're always working, which I don't know if blacksmiths tend to do that. I think they do. I think obviously efficient blacksmiths will. You have pieces heating up in the fire and you have one you're working on, but we used to make horseshoes in pairs. So you'd have one heating So one's in the fire while you're working on the other, then you turn around, shove the one you've just worked on in the fire, take the one that's hot out, and so you can't, not got time to be pushing on the bellows. So it's and obviously that's just more work as well. Pushing the
Yeah.
bellows. Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, is there anything else there we've not covered? I mean,
No, it was
the main stuff. Yeah,
no,
it was a wonderful event, wasn't it?
Was a good day, right? We had we got all psyched up, didn't we? We came back and we're like, oh yes, we can't wait to go to the next thing. There was a few other I don't know why I brought this up because I can't remember the name of the game that we spoke.
Yeah, there were a few other sort of similar game systems. That's the word, but yeah, I cannot remember. Not currently what they all were. We've got cards somewhere from everything, so we'll be able to actually note it all down.
Yeah. There was people selling their different game systems and whatnot. It's weird for whatever reason that the one we're joining, the Empire. I guess it's why we're joining it is because it's just popular, right? So
yeah.
But I think there's some very active. I don't know what I've heard is that people that are really into LARP will like be crew at a certain game system. So basically, you get to go for free, but you're like the crew. So you have to. It's work. It's voluntary work. That you do, but you're still part of the event. So you're because you play NPCs, and when they don't play the game that they crew for, but then they'll go off to another game and they'll be a player, So they have like two game systems that are involved in, but one they crew for and one they play for.
That's quite cool.
Yeah.
No, I do like that.
So you get to pretend to be a big monster or something like that. And of course, it'd be quite
NPC monster.
Yeah, and you get to know what the players are in for as well. I think that's quite cool.
Yeah. I do like that idea.
I think it'd be quite cool crewing for one of these these smaller, games, like these one-shot games, where it's like, I don't know, they're playing like an alien LARP or something like that, and you get to be the alien. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, no, that would be quite cool. Actually, I could be an alien.
Yeah.
I like that.
I think that would be wicked.
Get out all my rage in this one shot and then just go back to being a civilized human being. I could do that.
Yeah, or the opposite. I'm gonna LARP to become a civilized human being. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna yeah. It's a total escape from reality. My LARP character is gonna have this shit together. That's it. Escape from reality.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Well, yeah, I think it's definitely cleared up quite a lot of things for us, and it was just nice meeting people and realizing that all these wonderful, friendly people online are also all lovely, wonderful, friendly people in person. So I feel ready for this event.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely a different vibe from. I don't want to insult anybody here, any group of people, but it was a
careful.
I'm not my intention at all. But yeah, it was a different vibe. Just the people that were there just gave off a different vibe from cosplay groups and cosplay community. It was a varied group of people, wasn't it? Like in ages, It was, and also in like culture as well, because the people that turn up to cosplay, I'm obviously LARP people are all nerds and they're all geeky about a certain thing, but the people that used to turn up to cosplay, you had your real anime geeks, and then your geeky community. But then in when we went to that event, it was just a wide variety. It's just families, that are into. I know there's families into cosplay.
There was, but yeah, I mean, it was very inclusive. There was people there from all sorts of backgrounds.
Yeah.
There was people there from all different age categories. Like you said, you turn around and there was people there with tiny little kids running around with their first LARP weapon, all excited. And then you'd see people who are more elderly and again walking around and getting their new accessories and everything as well. It's a community. Just everybody is just so happy to be there together. And it's like this big family thing. And it looks like several generations from certain families were all there together, and it's something they'll do together.
I think that's really cool. Yeah. So, what else have we been doing this week, Robyn? We're playing some D&D this weekend, aren't we?
We are. We're getting to play some D&D this weekend. So that'll be Sunday the 13th at the moment. Well, we're at the time this podcast will come out anyway.
So
it'll be
2022.
Of February 2022. I was getting there. I was going to give them little parts of the date, just, spread out. They can work it out.
Yeah. So have you decided what character you're playing yet?
Yeah.
You don't sound sure at all.
I can remember. I think, okay, we have been really into watching Encanto recently, and I really like Isabella. So I am thinking of making my very first druid and making her a real Isabella style character with lots of flowers and things like that. What about you, Oliver? What are you thinking?
I have no idea. I mean,
he has no idea.
Yeah, it was a like, what the hell am I going to play? Last time we played, I was like, oh, I'll bring somebody new because you had brought someone in new, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing new characters. I have no idea because, I don't know. I might bring someone I haven't played for a while. Might bring Felix the Wizard in.
Yeah,
why not?
That's the thing is, I'd like
see what everyone else is playing first. See what class.
Yeah. Because I mean, I would like to bring in a character that I've maybe not played for a while. Now, two of those characters, so Annalise and Torvi, I've already played in the Hype Goblins one-shots. And I like to bring something maybe different or new. I've not played RNL in any of hers, and I kind of considered, but I think maybe something new.
Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, we're playing some D&D on Sunday. I am hard at work prepping our D&D campaign. We have yeah. I mean, I still don't have a date. Is going to be starting very soon though. I can tell people what we're playing quickly. We don't want to get like too into it.
You could, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a retelling. The story is going to be a retelling of a very popular D&D story, one that may or may not contain vampires. So it's going to be a gothic horror style of campaign, but it's not going to be full on horror because we like a little bit of fae and magic in there as well. So it's not going to be too doom and gloom. But yeah, we're going to be hopefully playing that in the next few weeks. The name for our series, I want to make it a series. I haven't actually decided yet whether it's going to be a separate podcast. I think I might make it a separate podcast. But the name is going to be To Have and To Roll Till Death Says to Us Part, which is going to be our TTRPG gameplay series, if you like. Yeah. And it is starting with this campaign. I am going to be the storyteller, dungeon master. Robyn is going to be my player. We're going to start out as a 2-player campaign. We are hopefully going to have some guests along the way, but it is primarily going to be a 1-on-1 campaign. So if anyone's into wanting to get into 2-player D&D, if you thought to yourself, is that a thing you can do? Maybe if you can only maybe you've got a friend or a spouse or a sibling, and or a partner, and you're like, we want to play D&D, but we don't have anyone to play with, and you're like, how? We don't have enough people for a party. You have 2 people, so stay tuned to this channel because I want to get people on this podcast that are have done this type of thing. I want to get people who play together, because I think there's a lot of people behind the scenes, especially some content creators and whatnot that have been in D&D for years that do play one-on-one D&D.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not often either broadcast or spoken about. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Right? Do you want to?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. So do you want to say goodbye, Robyn?
Yeah, I guess we'll say goodbye to all these wonderful people who've been listening along. So thank you all again for joining us, and yeah, goodbye. We'll catch you again next time.
Yeah, goodbye. Yeah, make sure you catch up with us on all the socials if you are interested in our campaign. Where to have to roll on Instagram, where to have _ to roll on Twitter, where to have _ to roll on twitch.tv. So catch us there, and we'll speak to you next week. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to subscribe so you know when a new episode is posted. Rate and review this podcast, and then catch us live at twitch.tv /to have _ to roll. That is the number 2 and roll as into roleplay. Thank you very much for listening.